Welcome to the Property Guide. You're watching ET Now. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a really special show lined up for you this week. We've received so many emails from you over the last several weeks. We've decided to dedicate this entire half an hour to just answering your question. Now, if you haven't sent us a question yet and you would like to get in touch, email ID is at the bottom of your screen. You can reach me personally on Twitter as well. Joining me in the studios to answer your questions, Ramesh Nair, COO and International Director at JLL India, Jayashree Kurup, Head of Content and Research at magicbricks.com, who joins us from Noida. Now, phone lines are also open, and I believe we have our first caller on the line right now. Nidhi is calling in all the way from Nairobi. Nidhi, thank you so much for calling in. You watch Property Guide in Nairobi, do you?
Yes, I do, and I really like your show.
It's always a pleasure to hear from you. Nidhi, tell us, how can we help you? Are you looking to buy a home in India?
Yes, I'm buying a 3 BHK flat in Delhi NCR region. Actually, this would be an investment purpose for me. So my budget is only 50 lakhs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and do you have you narrowed down the locations you want to look at for 50 lakhs? What is your question exactly?
See, my area which I have shortlisted would be Noida Extension, Greater Noida, or if I could get something in Gurgaon. This is the area which I would be looking for. And my concern is like that, because what I am getting to know through so many channels and all those reasons is that whether this is good time to invest in Delhi NCR region or not, because there are so many factors which are leading towards delayed possession and so many other stuffs also. So I was a little confused. Is this a good time to buy or not? So if this is a good time, I would really appreciate if you can suggest me some good property.
Okay, Nidhi, I want to ask you a very quick question, just so we can answer. We can do a better job at answering, your finding solutions for your problems. If you do invest in the property right now, at what point would you like to occupy that property or rent it out? When would you like possession? What is your time horizon for this investment?
For me, the possession, I'm not in a hurry. For me, 2 to 3 years is very good time. Like if this is 15 going on, if by 18, if I get the possession, I'm okay.
All right, possession by 2018. All right, Nidhi, hold on, and we'll try and get answers for you from both of our experts. You've asked $1 million question, really, and I'm sure that's going to open up an entire debate on the show. Ramesh, I want to come to you first, and this is a question that every investor is asking at this point. Should I buy now? Should I wait? Will the prices come down, especially in the NCR region? What would you recommend?
So for the NCR region, what we would recommend is to go look at Gurgaon. And not Noida, Greater Noida. 2-3 reasons. Greater Noida has a lot of unsold inventory. We are looking at close to 100,000 units of unsold inventory in Greater Noida. Again, if you look at the capital appreciation since 2009, Noida and Greater Noida, we've only seen a 30% capital appreciation compared to Gurgaon, which has seen close to 66% capital appreciation.
So Ramesh, tell me this, when we're talking about Gurgaon, and this is again a question like Nidhi was asking, that people are going to be wondering across the country. If we've seen the 30% that you've seen in Noida and a slightly higher appreciation in Gurgaon, what sort of an appreciation are you expecting in, say, the next 4 years? Because she has a 3-year horizon. She's expecting, she doesn't mind possession in 2018. If you look at the market of Gurgaon and Noida, what kind of appreciation can she expect over the next 4 years?
In the next 2 years, thanks to all the unsold inventory which is available in both these markets, we believe capital appreciation won't be more than 5 to 10%. But post 2 years, we believe it should get to that 10 to 15% mark.
All right, I want to bring in Jayashree here. Jayashree, if Ramesh suggests that she look at Gurgaon, and he gave us his reasons, I want to understand, with her budget of 50 lakh rupees, what's available in Gurgaon right now?
Practically nothing, Faye. At 50 lakh, I think Gurgaon is a very difficult market to enter. What you can do is enter into very new markets like Sona, which is Greater Gurgaon, which is being launched as a new extension area. Therefore, I would actually disagree with Ramesh. I would say if you have 50 lakhs, Noida, Greater Noida has huge amount of rental demand. Give it on rent, hold on to your property, hold on not for 2 to 3 years, but 5 to 7 years. And even in markets like Noida and Greater Noida, where there is a lot of stock, there will be demand.
Cheshri, tell us this. If she were to look at Gurgaon, and you did say that 50 lakhs would not buy her anything in Gurgaon. So even the Sona Road, extension area that you mentioned, what sort of an entry barrier would that be? What ticket size should she have to enter that neighborhood? And then we can check with Nidhi whether or not she's able to do so.
At least 60 to 70 lakhs. She needs to bump it up by 60 to 70 lakhs is what you can get. Otherwise, she can buy into the affordable housing projects where you have to be end user. You have to hold on to that investment for 5 years. And it's a new project, so a new scheme. So we don't know how those schemes will do in the market.
All right. So Nidhi, come in very quickly. Tell us, can you increase your budget to 60 or 70 lakh rupees, or is 50 lakh rupees your upper limit?
I would be okay with 60 lakh. I have another question if you can help me.
Please go ahead.
I wanted to know about L-Zone also. Is it good to invest in L-Zone?
Cheshri, what about the L-Zone that's coming up near Dwarka? Would you recommend that as an investment option?
L-Zone is the pooled land by the DDA. It is very nascent. It's new in its development cycle. The DDA vice chairman himself came to us and said, do not buy at this stage. If you want to buy in the L-Zone, you should buy as an end user only at once it is master planned. Currently, it is not even master planned. So if any developer who says they are selling with approvals, it is illegal. There are no approvals. The DDA has not even master plan the area and will not be selling those properties.
All right, Nidhi, we hope that helps, and of course you can get back in touch with us if you need help narrowing down on that investment. That's what we're here for on Property Guide. We have an email that's come in from Mazhar Ahmed Mohammed, who's written in saying that he'd like to invest in either a 2 or a 3-bedroom apartment with a budget of 55 lakh to 60 lakh rupees. He's confused whether to choose the IT corridors of Bangalore or of Hyderabad. He wants reasonable annual appreciation and rental value. And he also wants the ease of finding a tenant, which is his main criteria. He says, give me, possible localities that I should look at, reputed developers with legitimate land registrations and approvals. Well, that's the hat trick of the magic, 3: great job creation, good strong developer, and good rental values. Would you recommend Bangalore or Hyderabad at this point?
At this point, for the next 1 year, I'll still recommend Bangalore. The main reason being the number of jobs being created in Bangalore. Every year in Bangalore, what we are seeing is close to 100,000 to 150,000 new jobs being created. Hyderabad, after a lot of lull over the last 5-6 years, is beginning to pick up. But currently, if he's looking at investing, I would recommend Bangalore.
In fact, if we consider it, cities like Hyderabad get a spillover effect from Bangalore. But Bangalore is not done. It's still expanding. It can still absorb all of those jobs. So for the time being, Bangalore is still top of the list for the entire IT sector, the entire startup community at this point as well, isn't it?
Bangalore is definitely the Silicon Valley. So if you look at the overall office absorption also, we're talking of 30 million square feet, 10 million of that is just Bangalore.
I remember the last time we were talking, you have an interesting analogy of how, every time there's office space being created and absorbed, it leads to a certain number of units demand in residential, which means that if there are X number of employees being given jobs in a certain neighborhood, these are the number of homes that they will need. Take our viewers through that so they can understand why Bangalore is so important right now.
So Bangalore has 10 million square feet of office absorption, which is 100,000 jobs at 100 square feet a person. 5 million is taken by captive companies. That's another 50,000 new jobs. So that's 150,000 jobs. For every IT job created, there's one non-IT job being created. So that's 300,000 new jobs. And the annual supply in Bangalore is only 40 to 50,000 units. So out of the 300,000 people, even if 1/6 of them end up buying a new home, it takes care of the overall supply in Bangalore.
And the rest of them have to rent. So if you're looking at good rental returns, then that should work out for you as well.
Exactly, and that's where the viewer needs to keep in mind if he's looking at Bangalore to invest in those IT corridors, Whitefield, Outer Ring Road, Hebel. So those are the kind of areas he needs to look at.
Those are the kind of areas to get. So that's actually great advice if you're actually looking for rental returns to be as close to the IT parks as possible. Cheshri, can you give him options? Ramesh recommends Bangalore over Hyderabad and to be as close to the IT corridors as possible. I know that you also concur with that advice. Can you give him options on what he should be looking at in particular? Because he was very specific about the kind of builder he wants.
He has some builders in, again, the North Bangalore area, the Hebal area, there are options for him. Electronic City, he can get some projects within his budget. Parts of Whitefield or peripheral areas of Whitefield, you will be able to get some projects within your budget. even if he decides to choose Hyderabad over Bangalore, I agree with Ramesh that currently Bangalore is the better option because the amount of jobs created in Bangalore is definitely higher than in Hyderabad. But if you're looking at a slightly futuristic option, you will find that if you buy along the IT corridor in Hyderabad, you will get a slightly bigger apartment, and if you take you can even get a villa in certain areas. If that happens, you get a better rental return in Hyderabad as well. So you don't need to write off Hyderabad.
Jayashree, the thing that he was talking about, and the viewer wrote the email, said very specifically, his main concern is the ease of finding a tenant. And he doesn't want to, have to spend too much time and energy on that. Now, if he's looking simply at that criteria, wouldn't Bangalore then completely win over Hyderabad? Because we know of people who have homes to rent out in Hyderabad who've not exactly found tenants.
Bangalore is definitely an immediate option. Hyderabad is 2 years down the line.
So Bangalore is the immediate option. Hyderabad is 2 years down the line. Let's take another question. Parag has written in from Mumbai. He's looking to shift to Pune soon. He's looking for a 3-bedroom apartment with a budget of 1.6 crore rupees. He shortlisted the following areas. He's looking at Kesav Nagar, Kharadi, Undri, Kondwa. He wants to move permanently with his wife and his parents, so he's looking accordingly. What is a better location? Please recommend. The great thing about Pune, Ramesh, is the values. 1.6 crore rupees can still buy you a great apartment in a great complex with fantastic amenities, and especially if he's moving with his parents who are probably senior citizens at this point. These are things that are going to be top of mind, which is the the social infrastructure, the physical infrastructure that complex can provide him. If you were to recommend a neighborhood that is doing well, that will continue to do well in the future, out of the options he's just listed, what would you recommend to him?
I would recommend two, Kharadi and Kondwa, both within city limits. Both locations are close to, again, the IT zones.
Yes. And there's a lot of IT coming up in Kharadi.
A lot of IT. Yeah. You have Eon, the Eon project. You have Magarpata, not so far off. A lot of demand will come for rental housing from those locations. We're looking at good social infrastructure, good malls around, schools, colleges around. We have the new World Trade Center not very far off from that. So all these points to these two locations.
All right. So Kharadi and Kondwa is what you recommend. Jayashree, can you give him options of developments that are coming up, projects that he can consider given the price bracket and what he's looking for?
He's got plenty of options here. In both these areas, we would have, Kharadi was top of our list as well. And we had actually said Kharadi and Magarpata, these are the two cities, two areas that we had recommended. He's got very well-established, good developers with track records coming here. And with a budget like that, he can definitely buy in these areas.
Jayashree, would you be able to give him a name or two?
There is Marvel, there's Kolte Patil, there's Gera, Vascon. These are all available in Kharadi in this budget. We have Kasturi Housing, Amanora in the Magarpata area.
All right, and this is why I pick these guests to be on my panel. Ramesh, can you give him some options of projects he can look at?
Godrej, Tata has a project there, Goel Ganga Group, Marvel. These are the top 4 picks.
All right, so pics are on your screen with details, and if you have any more questions about buying property, feel free to get in touch with us. Our email ID is on your screen. You can reach me personally on Twitter as well. All right, welcome back. You're watching the Property Guide on ET Now. Thank you for staying with us. We're trying and answering as many questions as we can about buying homes in the next half an hour. So if you'd like to send us a question, email ID is on your screen. Write us, send us as many details as possible. It makes it easier for us to answer your questions. But I do believe we have a very, very young home buyer on the phone line right now who wants to buy a house in Bangalore. Ishan is on the phone line. Ishan, hello. Thank you for calling in. Tell us what your question is and how we can help you.
Yeah, hi. I would like to buy a 2 BHK flat in Bangalore. And I want to know from what all options I have. My preference is to go with a reputed developer like Shobha or Brigade or somewhat. My budget is 35 lakhs.
Okay. Ishan, are you from Bangalore? Do you plan to live in this house? Can you tell us why you're buying a home right now?
I am from Delhi, but since 1.5 years I'm in Bangalore. So basically it will be like for living or for investment purpose. But definitely I'll keep that house for another 3 years.
Okay, for another 3 years. I would like you to hold on to it for longer. Also, tell me what your possession time horizon is. So if you were to book something now, ideally when would you like possession of that house?
I would like possession anytime in 2016.
Okay, so in a year's time, so possession in a year, 35 lakh rupee budget. Is there a specific neighborhood you're considering? Where do you work in Bangalore right now?
I work in RMZ EcoSpace, that is in Bellandur. So any place nearby to this place is fine. Otherwise, since it's mainly for investment purpose, so anything is fine.
All right. See, one of the fantastic things about Bangalore is that there is a range of options available. So even with a budget of 35, right up to a budget of 4 crore rupees, there's actually quality available in Bangalore. So given what he's looking for, are there neighborhoods that you would recommend? Are there projects you would recommend to him?
See, at 35 lakhs, Mysore Road in West Bangalore is definitely a good bet. If we can stretch it by another 5-10 lakhs, then he could look at even locations like Whitefield, Sarjapur Road, Electronic City, all good investments. Bangalore, again, does not have too much of unsold inventory, just around 30 odd months. And since 2009, we've seen nearly a 65% capital appreciation in Bangalore.
All right, 65% capital appreciation, which is fantastic. Jayashree, a 35 lakh rupee budget can be limiting, especially for someone who's looking for a reputed developer. He mentioned Shobha, which might be slightly difficult to squeeze into that 35 lakh rupee budget, but he's a young investor, he's a home buyer. Let's help him out. What do you think he can buy for 35 lakh rupees in Bangalore?
He can get properties, since he said 2016, when I check out, I can find that he can buy on Hosur Road, Magadi Road, Mysore Road and Electronic City. All of these, the possession are between January and May 2016. Reputed large developers, I don't think so, say. Very honestly, I think he will have to scale down his expectations as far as the developer is concerned and check out how good the property is. He'll get local developers and he'll get a couple of medium developers, but not the Shobha and Brigade.
All right, so if he was going to go for, a local or a medium developer, Ramesh, come in here, how does he make sure that, he's going to get delivery on time, that the developer has all of his documents, that he's not going to get stuck in one of those, in one of those systems where he's just waiting for this to be delivered? So he wants it in the next 1 year. So give him a checklist of things he can use.
My recommendation is, even if he has to pay a little more to go with an established brand, look at 3-4 things. Look at his marketing track record, look at his construction track record, look at his legal track record. Also look at if the developer has any project rating or a rating for himself. So these are the 4-5 things. And we have top 10-15 players who have projects in all sizes, like you mentioned, from a 40 lakhs to a 4 crores. So there are enough good names in Bangalore he can go to. So the Embassies, the Shobhas, Prestige, Brigade, enough good names to look at.
All right. Ishan, does that help? Is there anything else you'd like to ask us?
Yeah, that helped a lot. And if you can name few middle project developers, if not Shobha and Brigade.
Well, I do know that Brigade is looking at mid-income housing. So there are some projects, might not be 40 lakh rupees. But is there anything else you can recommend to him?
So if you're looking at Mysore Road, you could look at VBHC. They have projects there. If you're looking at Southeast Bangalore, you could look at developers like Golden Gate.
All right, Ishan, there are 2 names there that are on your screen, and someone from our team will email you those, those names as well. And if there's anything else that you'd need while you're buying that house, feel free to get in touch with us. We're always here to help. Thank you so much for calling. All right, let's take a quick question from Sachin Sharma, who's bought a studio apartment in Lavasa. He tells us near Pune for 21 lakh rupees. He's already paid 14 lakh rupees so far, and he's a little disappointed with the pace of the project. He's saying the construction is really slow. He wants to know if he should stay invested for the time being, or should he sell, what the future prospects of Lavasa are. Jayashree, we all know that the construction is slow in Lavasa. My question is, even if he did decide to sell, would he be able to find a buyer at this point?
That is exactly my advice to him. You've already paid 14 out of the 21 lakhs. And at this point of time, you're not going to get a very high value for it because, like you said, the Lavasa project is really slow. But Lavasa is the kind of project that in long term will definitely, once all the legal hurdles are cleared and all that, will definitely it does have prospects. Today, by selling, you're not going to get much out of that project. You may actually sell at a discounted value. I would still recommend hold on to that project. There can be disproportionate returns in that project once it takes off. But it will be a long-term hold, and I would say consider holding it.
All right, so hold on to that project for as long as you can. The longer you hold, the better the returns would be. And also finding a buyer at this point is going to be extremely challenging. Santosh has also written in. He purchased a flat at Marvel in Pune for 70 lakh rupees. He said the project is already delayed by 8 months. and is expected to be delayed even further. Now, he's now questioning his decision. Was it a good decision to buy? What sort of capital appreciation can he expect over the next 5 years? Marvel Freya in Pune, good decision? Would you recommend he holds on to it for the next 5 years?
I wouldn't like to comment on the developer or the development, but it's definitely a good area, Vaguli. Pune is probably the most healthiest of markets in the country, along with Bangalore. In the last 3 years, we've seen capital appreciation of 9, 13 and 13%. In terms of overall appreciation since 2009, Pune has seen the maximum in the country, close to 90% increase in, and the least amount of unsold inventory, just around 25 months.
You know, this is the thing. So let's answer this question for anybody who's bought a house in Pune right now. One is that 6 to 8 months delay is expected right now from most builders.
We heard Jayashree talk about 6 to 7 years in
in
so
Noida,
I think
yeah,
6 to 8 months should be manageable.
Should be manageable, and basically that you should just budget in right now as a customer. You should just expect
any buyer
that
in India should, while calculating his IRR, should look at least a 1 year delay.
All right. So the longer it gets delayed, if you're purely an investor and you're just waiting, then there is a portion that is an expectation of slighter.
I think 6 to 8 months is fine.
6 to 8 months is fine.
More than a year becomes
a problem. All right. Santosh, this is the answer you're getting. Now, Ramesh recommends that you hold on to your investment because it's a great neighborhood. And Pune is a very, very strong market right now. But like Ramesh said, 6 to 8 months in any given market in India is par for the course at this point. Anything more than that, we're here to help you. So get in touch with us. Let us know what you'd like to do, and we'll help you with whatever that is. Samir Joshi has also written in. He tells us he's an NRI. He'd like to buy a 3-bedroom apartment with a budget of 6 crore rupees in either Shivaji Park or the Dadar area of Mumbai. He's looking for an under-construction project with a good layout to use primarily as a home when he returns to India in 2020 in a semi-retired state. He'd like to have access to cinemas, to the theatre, shopping areas, safe, secure neighborhood, please recommend. But the other Shivaji Park is all of those things. It's a great neighborhood, there's no doubt about it. My question is supply. I mean, there isn't a lot of supply coming up.
Very limited supply. Whatever supply he'll find there would be redevelopment of societies. So my recommendation with that kind of a budget would be to look at Bandra East, close to BKC. There's some very good projects coming up. A Radius project in Bandra. That's a good one. Forum Serendipity is very good. Rustamji Seasons, again good. All these projects priced between 23 to 30,000 rupees per square foot. BKC is the next, is already the biggest financial hub of South Asia. So going forward, lots of things looking positive for BKC. I would request him with that kind of budget, if he has to see good capital appreciation, a project which is going to get ready in the next 2-3 years to look at these names which I just mentioned.
So, I mean, the good thing is you have the budget. It is a market where you can drive a really hard bargain, especially if you're an end user and you're willing to cut the deal at the table. So spend some time negotiating. You might be able to get a really, really good deal. Jayashree, do you have any recommendations for him?
He had actually mentioned Dadar West, and I have projects, the Onkar developers project in Dadar West, which is up. There are some units up for sale in the secondary market. So if he looks at that project, he would be able to get an immediate rental return while he holds on, because he has a long period of wait. So he would be entering at about roughly 5 to 6 crore, and he would be able to get a rental return of something like around 1 lakh a month.
You must factor that in when you're buying a project, and we've run out of time entirely on this show. I can't believe we finished half an hour that quickly. Jayashree and Ramesh, thank you so much for joining us on the show and answering all of those questions. If you have a question, you know you can get in touch, or you can reach me on Twitter. It'll be our pleasure to answer your question on this show. Thanks for watching.